Hello and welcome back to another Football Commentaries live stream. The King Power Stadium is the venue for this Premier League lunchtime kickoff. As the spooky season hits, will Leicester City offer Manchester City a trick or a treat? With the Foxes sitting at a scary 17th, their form has started to turn in the right direction with 3 wins in their last 5 Premier League games. That includes 4 clean sheets in that positive run. For the citizens, they come into this game off the back of a 0-0 away draw to Dortmund and a 3-1 home win to Brighton in their previous league match. But away from home, it hasn't been all easy for Pep's Blues as they have picked up 2 draws on the road to Newcastle and Aston Villa and their only defeat of the season, which came at Anfield a fortnight ago. Last season, the two teams met 3 times with a Community Shield win for Leicester and then City doing the league double against the Foxes with a 1-0 away win earlier on in the season and then a thumping 6-3 victory on Boxing Day to give them 6 points out of 6 against Brendan Rodgers' men. But 2 very experienced managers do collide, with Rodgers having 9 honours to his name alongside Pep Guardiola, who has won 34 honours in his managerial career. So for the first game in game week 14 of the Premier League, will the Foxes haunt the Blues or will City rot away the current Leicester form? It's a lunchtime kickoff. The big news coming out of Leicester, everyone would have seen it. No Erling Haaland for Manchester City, not even on the bench. We obviously knew at half-time against Dortmund he came off with a slight knock. Pep saying he was tired, he had a little bit of an injury to, I think, his foot. There was pictures coming out of him limping in towards, a doctor's. And then he also had a bit of flu. Apparently João Cancelo was struggling with a bit of flu, a bit of illness as well. So it's not been a great week for Erling Haaland. Obviously went back to Dortmund where City bought him from for £51 million with that release clause. Didn't play the full 90 and then has not been able to recover quickly enough for this game at the King Power Stadium. But Manchester City have so much depth. Obviously, as you can see with the starting 11 screens, we've got Julian Alvarez up front for Manchester City. He was signed for $14 million back in January of this year and obviously joined the squad in July and started the season decently enough. It's his 10th Premier League appearance for Julian Alvarez. He's only scored 2 goals so far and they were both in the same game. That was against Nottingham Forest at home, which actually was his only other start in the Premier League. So it's a big day for the Argentine. If you remember, he has scored at the King Power Stadium already this season in the Community Shield final where Manchester City dropped to a defeat against Liverpool. So we'll have to wait and see what happens here. Big shoes to fill for Julian Alvarez because Erling Haaland's had such an unbelievable start to the season. He's already got 22 goals in all competitions, Erling Haaland, 17 of them in the Premier League. That's including 3 hat-tricks, 2 braces, and Erling Haaland had only failed to score in 2 league games so far in the 11 he's played. So no matter who had to come in for Haaland today, it was going to be difficult, but it is the Argentine who's going to come in and try and get City the goals they need to get past a Leicester side who have been really good defensively as of late. They've only conceded 2 goals in their last 5 with 4 clean sheets in that run. The only loss they've got in their last 5 was to Bournemouth away where they did take the lead but then was pegged back by an unbelievable Bournemouth side that we're seeing so far this season, managerless as well so far. But the main focus today is Leicester versus Manchester City. For Leicester, they could go up to around 10th if they win, but obviously everyone else has got to play still, so it'd be a bit of a false position, but it'd be still nice to see for Leicester fans, being bottom for some of the season. Then for Manchester City, they can go top with a win today, but then once again, Arsenal play tomorrow against Nottingham Forest at home. So again, a bit of not a false position because we're so used to seeing City at the top of the Premier League, but it may not last the full game week. So yeah, the game is just about starting around under 7 minutes time. The players are in the tunnels. Leicester are in their home strip, and Manchester City are in their third kit, the light green and the black. Not gone for the red and black kit for today's game as Gundogan leads out Manchester City as he is the captain for today's game, and then Leicester will follow slowly behind. I will go through the teams very shortly. So there we go, sorting the timer out, getting ready. Just give me 2 seconds. There we go. I'm aware that the timer is starting now. I just need to get it going a little bit. But the teams are out, and I'll go through the teams very quickly. For Leicester, Danny Ward is in net, the Welsh international. Got off to a pretty dreadful start with Leicester's poor form, but he started to pick it up, like I say, 4 clean sheets in his last 5, and hopefully he's going to gain confidence to try and keep a clean sheet against the likes of Manchester City, who've got so much firepower up front. They've gone for a back 5. They changed it up. Timothy Castagne, right wing back, will play with Daniel Amati without Fass, the new central defender they bought from Reims for 15 million in the summer, one of only 2 signings they made. Kaglar Soyuncu comes in only for his 2nd appearance in the whole season. His first came against Stockport County in the League Cup. This is his first Premier League appearance of the season. James Justin will play at left wing back. 2 central midfielders of Yuri Tielemans and Kiernan Dewsbury Hall, who joined the club at the age of 8. Madison, the main man, who's got 6 in 10 Premier League games so far this season, plays on the right. Harvey Barnes is on the left. He's also got 4 goals in 10 Premier League games, 2 in his last 2. And a returnee, the 35-year-old Jamie Vardy. He's so prolific in front of goal still. He might only have the 1 goal so far this season, which he picked up in Leicester's last game against Wolves in that 4-0 away win, but he's going to be firing all cylinders. He's got a decent record as well against Manchester City, 9 in 18 in all competitions. And on the bench, they've got Everson, Luke Thomas, Wilfred Ndidi, Mendy, Pratt, or Brighton Perez. Former Manchester City man Kelechi Iheanacho and Patson Daka is also on the bench. For Manchester City, Edison starts. There was a bit of a question if Stefan Ortega, their new goalkeeping signing, would start his first Premier League games, but Edison has been trusted by Pep and he stays in. 5 clean sheets for him so far this season, including 3 in the Champions League. Akanji will play at right back, joined for 15 million towards deadline day, which is just an unbelievable signing, especially for the money that he's cost. And he'll play in a back 4 alongside John Stones, who's getting his first Premier League minutes in his last 4. He'd been sat out for the last 4 with a little bit of an injury, but he returns for the game against Leicester today. Laporte also in, getting his 2nd start of the season. This back-to-back starts now for the Spanish international. João Cancelo signed for 60 million in August 2019. Plays at left back with Rodri in holding midfield. He's only missed 1 game so far this season, and that was the Manchester derby. Ilkay Gundogan, the club captain, comes in, as he's got 2 goals so far this season. They came in back-to-back games in game week 2 and 3 against Bournemouth and Newcastle. Kevin De Bruyne will play in central midfield as well. Only the 2 goals for him, but 9 assists for the Belgian, but he hasn't got any in his last 2 Premier League matches. Bernardo Silva will move from the central side of end of the pitch to the more right width part of the pitch as he played right wing. He's also got the 2 goals so far this season, also coming in back-to-back game weeks against Newcastle and Crystal Palace. And the man we've been talking about earlier on in the commentary, Julian Alvarez, will start up front. 10th appearance, his only 2nd start in the Premier League. He's got 1 goal in 5 Champions League appearances as well. The former River Plate man, will he be able to score for Manchester City? Jack Grealish also on the left. He's got the faith of Guardiola. He's only got the 1 so far this season that came to Wolves away. Manchester City's last lunchtime kickoff. Will he be able to kick on with his season and try and get his 8th, 9th or 10th Manchester City Premier League, Manchester City goal in all competitions? We'll have to wait and see. Stubs are Stefan Ortega, Scott Carson, Rico Lewis, Ruben Diaz on the bench. 2nd time he's on the bench. The only other time was in the Manchester derby. Nathan Ake, Sergio Gomez, who got that red card against Copenhagen earlier on in the Champions League. Josh Wilson, Esbrand, Phil Foden also dropped to the bench, joined Manchester City at the under-9s level, and Riyad Mahrez also dropped to the bench as well. He only has 1 goal so far this season, and that was against Southampton in game week 10. And as we look back on the screen, Leicester are carrying out their remembrance show. As funnily enough, this is Leicester's last home game until the World Cup. So this is it. They've got 2 more games after this. Then they're both away, and then that is it. They don't play at the King Power then until Boxing Day, I believe, when the World Cup is over. So they're having their remembrance showing today. Obviously, Remembrance Sunday is obviously in a couple of weeks' time, but due to this being Leicester's last home game before the World Cup, they're doing it a little bit earlier to show their respects with the Poppy Appeal and Remembrance Day and everything that comes with it. So great to see from the King Power. Obviously, it'll be weird for Leicester fans. I'm sure that their team won't be playing at home now until until late December, when we're currently just about to hit November. But it's the way this World Cup has shook the season, and we are ready to see the King Power liven up for the fixture between Leicester City and Manchester City. We've got Robert Jones as the referee, with his assistant referees being Eddie Smart and Nick Greenhalgh. Let's get an exciting game. We're about to kick off. It's 17th versus 2nd in game week 14 of the Premier League season for the 2022-2023 season. The referee blows his whistle. Julian Alvarez kicks off for Manchester City. City kicking right to left. Leicester City left to right. And Laporte diagonal ball towards Stones is headed away by James Justin. And City are back in possession with Manuel Akanji at the back. And it looks like we could be having John Stones at right back. Obviously, I've got Akanji at right back. But it looks like it's going to be Laporte and Akanji as a back two, with Stones playing right back and also drifting inside as well, like he has now, almost playing in the midfield role here. John Stones, as we've got Grealish on the left-hand side, closed down by Maddison, plays it back to Cancelo, who's on the halfway line. He's got the support across of John Stones, who then goes into a centre-back role with Akanji then going out wide, so them two could be reversing their roles throughout the game as Bernardo Silva goes to the switch towards Grealish, cut out by the head of Castagna. It's now gone to Maddison on the edge of the 18-yard box. Clears up the field for Leicester, not towards the blue shirt, so it'll roll all the way back to Brazilian Ederson, who got an assist in Manchester City's last Premier League match against Brighton for Erling Haaland, who's missing out today due to an injury. Obviously, it was a big talking point on Fantasy Premier League this week. Will Haaland feature? And he's not even made the squad, as it's early possession for Manchester City. Camped inside the Leicester half so far. It's Jack Grealish, 1-on-1 with Timothy Castagna. Goes back to Cancelo. Ball into the box for De Bruyne. Heads it inside. Cleared away by James Justin in the 18-yard box and up towards the halfway line, where it's won by Laporte. Heads it to his right to Akanji. Lifts it over towards the right towards Bernardo Silva. Keeps it in with his head to Stones. Works it back to Akanji in the City half. Works away from Vardy. Gets it back inside to John Stones. And Leicester will calm their press. And City are keeping possession here with Rodri just at the halfway line. Gets it out to João Cancelo. Number change for him this season to number 7. He cuts inside. He's around 50 yards away from goal. So they've got some breaking down to do here, Manchester City. And what a player they have to do that through Kevin De Bruyne, who gets a nice switch out to Bernardo Silva. Scored at this ground last season in their 1-0 win. He cuts inside, edge of the box, lays it off to Rodri, clips it inside towards the box. And there was 3 City players there looking to get towards it, but I think a few of them had been caught offside, and in the end it just trickled away for a Leicester goal kick. It was an inventive ball from Rodri, but the 2 players he mainly aimed for, Gundogan and Grealish, who made their way into the box, were stood in an offside position. And like I say, Leicester gained the goal kick. And just under 3 minutes in, it's been heavy possession for Manchester City. But I'm sure Pep Guardiola will be happy that his team have got on the ball early and they've got their rhythm going, because obviously they've got a big change up front with no Haaland. As Rodri wins the header, it's now Vass, the centre-back. Head tennis between him and Rodri. Twice it's gone back to each other. In the end, it's a foul on Wout Vass. Julian Alvarez just giving him a knock as he went for that second header. And just below the halfway line, it's a Leicester free kick. They've taken by Yuri Tielemans, the captain for Leicester today. Gets out to Harvey Barnes on the Leicester left. Has to go back into his own half to Kaglar Sancho. Like I say, it's his first Premier League appearance of the season. He struggled with injury a little bit and just not really breaking into the team, as he's found a great ball to James Justin in behind on the Leicester left. Tries to cross it. That should be a goal kick. And it will be so for Manchester City. Good ball there from Sancho, finding Justin in behind. As he got there ahead of John Stones, he looked to pull a cross in. And in the end, he just kicked it off his standing leg there, James Justin. And it's back in possession for City. But like I say, Kaglar Sancho, first Premier League appearance for him. Struggled so far this season. He's been on the bench 7 times. He's also missed 3 games for a little knee injury he had. But his only appearance so far this season, like I mentioned before, was against Stockport County in the League Cup first round. So 4 minutes in, Manuel Akanji has the ball for Manchester City. Just inside their own half is now the Spaniard Aymeric Laporte. Akanji bursts into the Leicester half there, sitting deep. They're not really pressing City so far, letting them play it side to side. But they have to be careful because City have such creative players. One pass and they can break through this Leicester defence. Even though they've sat and they've set up with a 5-4-1, that can be broken easily. Here's Cancelo on the left-hand side, looks for the cross, comes off Maddison, who will deflect to Stones, who will play it calmly and safely back to Akanji to recycle and to keep possession. Stones, across to Rodri. Now to Cancelo again. Touch is not great, but he keeps it under his spell and keeping it away from Castagna. Leicester do have 3 clean sheets in a row. The last time they got 4 clean sheets in a row was back in November of 2019. And the last time they won 3 league games on the bounce was back in January of 2021. So they could set some nice new records here, Leicester City, but they've got a mammoth task ahead of them. If you are new, if you could like and subscribe, that'd be fantastic. As it's Rodri, all inside the Leicester half. Just been patient here, Manchester City, as John Stones just about gets out of his feet. Struggled with that pass from Rodri. But I was researching for this game, and interestingly, John Stones, the most appearances he's had in the Premier League in one season for City was 27. And that was in his first season he joined back in 2016-17. So every season he's always struggling with a bit of injury, with rotation, not quite getting the full trust of Pep Guardiola. So I found that was interesting. And only 27 as well in his first season. And the 38 game season, it's not great. De Bruyne from deep whips a ball in towards the far post, and that is towards absolutely no one. You can't even blame a forward player for City not making the run, because no run would have got anywhere near that ball for Manchester City. Obviously, early on, maybe frustrating Manchester City so far, forcing De Bruyne from quite deep to get a crossing towards no one. Even if Haaland was on, I don't think he would have got anywhere near it. We have a goal kick here once again for Danny Ward, the Leicester goalkeeper. He's been at the club now for 4 years. This is his first time he's ever broke into the first team and being the first choice keeper, obviously due to the departure of Kasper Schmeichel to Nice at the start of the season. Rodri once again wins the header from the goal kick, but always finds Kaglar Sayıncu, the Turkish international, who'll go back to his goalkeeper Danny Ward in his 18-yard box, clips it towards Amati on the right, has to let it go over his head and out for a throw from Manchester City because he'd put too much on it. And a quick throw in by Cancelo, who's thrown to the halfway line to Aymeric Laporte. Who, City, their 2 draws they've had so far this season have both been away from home to Aston Villa and Newcastle, one being 1-1 and the other being 3-3 at St James's Park. Laporte. Out it goes to Grealish in the final third, far left he is. Again, one-on-one with Castagna. Goes back to Cancelo. Being pressured by Maddison. Gets it back into Grealish. Back to goal. Twisting turn against Tielemans. Lays off to Cancelo again. Still in the final third. Laporte. He's got forward here. Grealish. Nice first time ball to Rodri. Clips it wide right towards Bernardo Silva, who can bring it down with the chest. He's got pressure from Justin, who's staying tight on him. Getting the support as well from Harvey Barnes. As Bernardo Silva's been tackled. And he concedes the throw in there. Bernardo Silva came off the Portuguese international last. Like I said, got doubled up there between James Justin and Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes looking like he's going to be sticking around at Leicester. Still got 3 years left on his contract. He's valued at just under £30 million, Harvey Barnes, and Kaglar Sayıncu gives it away for City for a throw-in. He got it from Justin. He was pressed quickly and just had to clear, and City have the throw-in, so they've kept possession high up the Leicester pitch. That's thrown back to Manuel Akanji. Still not got his first City goal yet, but that's not what he's been brought in for. He's been brought in for depth, but he's started a lot of games so far. And his versatility is also key. He's played 2 at right back so far in the Premier League. The other 3 at centre back. Laporte. Out it goes to Cancelo again. A ball into the box. It's a deep one. Gundogan can head it towards goal, and Danny Ward is able to keep it away from his line. Okay, Gundogan getting his head on the ball. It was a clever ball from Cancelo lifting towards the German, who had to head it behind him. Couldn't quite see where he was directing it, but he got it on target. But it was an easy save for Danny Ward, who's picked off his first save of the game, just under 10 minutes in. As again, he looks to clip towards Castagna at right wing back, heads it forward. Only as far as Gundogan as he gets there ahead of the number 10, James Maddison. And he finds De Bruyne, looks in behind for Julian Alvarez, cut out by James Justin, and cleared up to Maddison, nodded down to Tielemans. Out to the other Belgian, Castagna. In the 18-yard box is now Daniel Amati. Castagna, first time ball to Tielemans. Into the path of Castagna. Drifted out wide and tried to get it back inside to Maddison, but it's been cut out. It's now Cancelo drifting in towards the box. Gets away from the tackle of Dewsbury Hall. Cancelo, who's drifted centrally in the pitch, gets it out to Bernardo Silva on the right. 1-on-1 with Justin. Again, Harvey Barnes there looking to help his wing back as Bernardo Silva goes for the low cross. It's blocked by James Justin and a corner kick for Manchester City. Good play there from the Portuguese international who's been put on the right-hand side for today's game. Bernardo Silva obviously attracts interest from all the big clubs every transfer window. Bernardo Silva was looking like he was on his way to Barcelona. PSG were also interested, but eventually stayed in Manchester. De Bruyne, outswinger, header won by Tielemans, his Belgian teammate. It's now Bernardo Silva. Left-footed ball in. It's a good one, but it's into the hands of Danny Ward. He was aiming towards Aymeric Laporte, the 6'3" Spaniard. And in the end, it fell into the gloves of the Welsh international, who has it with his feet here. He's taking risks. Alvarez nearly blocks his clearance, but he gets it away up towards Harvey Barnes. Header won by Stones in the Leicester half, as far as Dewsbury Hall. Now Justin looks inside for Barnes again. Can't find the blue shirt, and in the end, it's a throw in for Manchester City. Brendan Rodgers, again, not really showing too much emotion, but he's definitely telling his team just to settle when they've got the ball. Obviously, when you get the ball against Manchester City, you've got to try and keep it, and sometimes it's a luxury to have the ball against Manchester City, so you can panic sometimes. Because it is City to come at Leicester again. With Akanji out to John Stones. Interestingly enough, in his last 6 Premier League games where he could have featured against Leicester, he's got no minutes in any of them. So it's his first minutes against Leicester in the Premier League in the last 7, which I found quite interesting, as I think João Cancelo wins a corner for his side there. Timothy Castagna blocking the cross. He'd pick up an assist in the last game against Wolverhampton Wanderers, where he assisted Vardy's first Premier League goal of the season. Jack Grealish goes to the edge of the box to De Bruyne from the corner, gets someone to his left foot, puts in the box, header won by Rodri, and it's had to be tipped over the crossbar from Danny Ward. Not sure if he tipped it or he fumbled it a little bit, the goalkeeper. It was clever from Jack Grealish to find De Bruyne, who got onto his left foot, crossed it in. Rodri was well onside, and it's right at the keeper, the header. It was a looper with a decent bit of power, and yeah, I think he's just fumbled that over as another ball goes into the box, won by Daniel Amati. Header goes to Cancelo on the edge. Can't find Grealish from the corner, but De Bruyne will. A header trying to find him behind, too much power on the header. Grealish can't get there. Goal kick for Leicester City. Wow, it's like attack versus defence. It's like a training session, but Leicester have held on well so far. Like I say, from that Rodri header, Danny Ward just made sure he tipped that over the crossbar, taking no risks. Dewsbury Hall on the left. Just about keeps it in. Gets it down the line. Can't find a Leicester shirt. It finds John Stones instead. Gundogan to Rodri to Laporte. And possession is in the feet of Manchester City again. Cancelo looks in behind here for Ilkay Gundogan. Fast wins the header. As far as De Bruyne, who takes control. And he has a left-footed shot. That is dragged wide of the mark. But from what I'm hearing on social media, Wout Faes, the new centre-back for Leicester, is being highly rated so far by the Leicester City fans. Obviously struggled when he first came in due to the fact that they were leaking many goals. He's had 7 Premier League appearances now. He started all 7. In the previous 6, he's played the full 90 minutes. And, in the recent run of form they've had where they've stopped conceding goals, he looks like a real lead and a real physical presence at the back for Leicester City. There's got a bit of head tennis again. Castagna, he heads it on towards Vardy in the City half. It's dealt with by Manuel Akanji in the end to Grealish, who lays it off to Cancelo. Nicely done by the former Aston Villa winger. It's now inside to Rodri. Gets away from the challenge of Dewsbury Hall and then gets out wide to John Stones. Goes to Bernardo Silva inside the Leicester half. Back inside the City half with Stone once again. The former Everton centre half. Goes in behind for Julian Alvarez. Too much on it. Goal kick for Leicester, but that definitely seems like what they're going for here. in certain areas of the pitch, Manchester City, they're looking in behind for Alvarez. They know the Argentine's quick. They know he's got pace, and then they know he can definitely finish. His stats for River Plate last year was something else. 18 goals in 26 appearances. Rodri. Halfway line. Stones again. A lot of possession for the back four of City. De Bruyne in behind for Alvarez. Shoots. Good save from Danny Ward. Is he offside? Yeah, he was. Free kick given. Good save, though, there from Danny Ward to stop the Argentine. Like I say, they are looking for him in behind. This time, it was De Bruyne, and he was onside. If that went to VAR, that would have stood on the right-hand side. It was a tighter angle for the Argentine, so Danny Ward did well to really close down that angle, and he did save strongly with his right hand. But if Alvarez had finished, I think that would have been a goal. Sancho, poor clearance straight to Rodri. He's only about 25 yards away from goal on the right-hand side. Lays it off into Bernardo Silva. Leicester have got players back quickly to plug any holes that was in that defence with that poor clearance from the Turkish international, making his first Premier League appearance of the season. Grealish finds Cancelo. Back to Grealish. 1-on-1 Castagna towards the byline. Gets onto his right foot. Fakes the cross once. Tries to find a ball inside. It comes off Castagna straight back into the path of the Birmingham-born winger. Then Grealish goes inside to Rodri. Clips it in behind for De Bruyne. In the box. Brings it down. And he hooks it and lays it off to Bernardo Silva. Good save with the feet of Danny Ward at that near post once again. And as it comes off his boot, it falls to John Stones. And City will come again. Bernardo Silva this time getting a shot at goal. Alvarez back to goal. Comes deep for the ball. Tries to lay it off into Bernardo Silva on the right. He loses out to Dewsbury Hall. But then him and Stones nearly wins it back. But instead it's gone into the possession of Leicester. And they've worked it back to their goalkeeper Ward, who will clear it long. And Leicester can breathe. And it goes towards Vardy. But it goes over his head and into the feet of Laporte. And possession once again at Manchester City. But they go towards the left-hand side here. I saw a quote from Grealish before where he says, "Using statistics is the worst argument you can use in my case." And then he said later on in that quote, "So if Manchester City bought me, it wasn't for my statistics. In the end, if I create a lot of chances for my teammates, that's good with me." And then I did a bit further research on that, and I know I'm using stats against him, which he says you shouldn't do. But so far this season, the 6 Premier League games he played, he's only made 2 big chances so far. He has struggled so far at City. He's not had as much freedom as he used to have at Aston Villa. But I'm sure the goals will come soon. It's De Bruyne on the right. Cross it into the box. Rodri with another header. Couldn't get over it. Well over the bar for the Spaniard. Yet to score so far this season, all competitions. He had a great goal-scoring season last year, Rodri, for Manchester City. He got 7 in 33 Premier League matches. But you do feel like the goal will soon come for the away team. But it's not landed so far. As Leicester try and play at the back, it's James Justin, their left wing back. Being pressed from Bernardo Silva. Try and gets towards Harvey Barnes, who kicks out of play. Nope. He gets tackled and he wins a throw for his side in his own half there. Five shots so far for Manchester City, 3 on target. As Danny Ward's scuff clearance will land to the head of Rodri, who gets it forward, but only finds Dewsbury Hall. He's been pressed from Bernardo Silva, so he's been forced back to his goalkeeper, who clears again with his left boot. That's more convincing. Up towards Vardy, who wins the header and gets it inside towards Tielemans, who loses out to Jack Grealish. It's now Cancelo to Ilkay Gundogan, who him and Tielemans are wearing the Rainbow Waste captain armband to support the LGBT movement in the Premier League. And De Bruyne tries to find Gundogan, who I think she's clipped on the top of his boot. The referee didn't see it, and play will continue. Gundogan straight back up onto his feet, though, and Leicester will get it to Castagna on the right-hand side, to Daniel Amati on the edge of the 18-yard box for Leicester. Back out to Castagna, number 27, joined 2 seasons ago from Atalanta for £18 million. It's now Maddison, who's fouled by Kevin De Bruyne on the halfway line. Great season last year as well for Maddison. People do forget he got 12 goals and 8 assists in the Premier League. That's 20 goal contributions in 35 Premier League games that he did play. He got 18 goals in all competitions as well. You've got to see an argument for James Maddison to try and make that England squad for the World Cup. He's only made 1 England appearance, and that came back in 2019, and that was the last time he was called up to the England squad 3 years ago. He's got to be on Gareth Southgate's radar. He's such a talented player. The Coventry-born playmaker. Wout Faes gets it to Harvey Barnes on the left, tries to head it inside towards Vardy, cut out by Rodri, and it's in possession of City again with Ederson, who's got a 50% clean sheet record against Leicester in all competitions. That's 5 in 10 for the Brazilian. And if he concedes today, Ederson, that'll be his 200th goal he concedes in a Manchester City shirt. It's Grealish, drop deeper for the ball. Finds Laporte again. City just trying to crack this Leicester code. And they're doing it patiently, just under 20 minutes played. Still 0-0 at the King Power Stadium. Bernardo Silva. Back to Akanji on the halfway line. Manchester City have only won 2 of their last 6 away matches in the Premier League, drawing 3, losing 1, alongside the 2 victories. A clipped ball finds João Cancelo on the left-hand side. Jinxes past Castagna on the byline, gets the crossing towards the far post. It's a good header by James Justin, chested down by De Bruyne at the far post. Finds Bernardo Silva. Into De Bruyne again. Inside to Stones. Bernardo Silva, first time ball in behind for De Bruyne. Brings it down towards the byline. He's brought down by Sayuncu, but he gets straight back up to his feet. And it's a goal kick for Leicester. Well dealt with by the former Freiburg man. It's a good ball from Bernardo Silva to find De Bruyne in behind first time, but he was well seen out in the end by Sancho. Here's Wout Faes, being closed down by Grealish in the 18-yard box. Releases it to Sayuncu on the left. As Leicester try and play out again, he dinks it towards Dewsbury Hall, cut out by Rodri, and his touch will fall to Gundogan, who zips it into Alvarez, around 25 yards away from goal, can't pull the trigger because Tielemans has tackled him with a nice slide challenge. It's now Maddison out to Castagna, still in the Leicester half here. Try and play out from the back. They've gone back to Daniel Amati. Across to Wout Faes. He made 73 League 1 appearances at his time with Stade Reims. Amati on the edge of the 18-yard box again. Tielemans out to Castagna. Being pressed by Cancelo. Goes back to Amati as City press further forward. They've had to go long towards Vardy, who's won the header against Laporte, but only finds Rodri on halfway. And City will come again at Leicester. They're struggling to make it stick, the Foxes. Here's John Stones for Manchester City in their 3rd kit today. Trying to get their 9th win in their 12th Premier League match so far this season. Cancelo in towards the final third. On the far left-hand side, everything is to his right. And he goes to Laporte, who's got forward here for Manchester City. Switched nationalities about a year ago now to feature for Spain in the Euros, where they got to the semi-finals. He played pretty much every game in that European Championship. Cancelo goes for the cross. It deflects towards Alvarez on the edge of the box. His touch is heavy. It can be tackled by Wout Faes. And Dewsbury Hall is caught from behind, and that'll be a free kick for Leicester. They're dealing with Manchester City decently so far. City have had a decent amount of shots at the Leicester goal, but none really threatening Danny Ward. He's had to make 2 saves. One was offside, the other one was a decent save with his feet, but you may expect him to make that save. As James Justin goes back to Sayuncu. All the possession for Leicester is in their back 3. That's for sure. And that Wout Faes has also got 1 appearance for Belgium as well. It came at the end of last season, on the 8th of June. Got around 5 minutes against Poland. So he'll be in contention as well to make the squad for Belgium in the World Cup. Like I mentioned before, this is Leicester's last game at home before the World Cup, as they bring it out well. And Tielemans finds Vardy in behind. He'll hold it up. He's got Barnes to his left. He finds him in the box. 1-on-1 with Stones. He'll go on his left. Pull it across. It's a strong save from Ederson. And it'll go out for a Leicester corner. First big chance for Leicester as they break. Tielemans found Vardy really well, who held it up and released Barnes on the left, who charged into the City box, took it the outside route and forced a shot on at goal, and it was really well saved there by the Brazilian Ederson, who had to get low down to his left to avoid conceding his 200th goal for Manchester City. But it's positive for Leicester. It gives them belief, it gives them hope. As they've got their first corner of the game after securing their first shot of the match as well. For James Maddison, of course, to take. In-swinger towards Sayunshu, header won by Rodri at the near post, and it will fall for a Leicester throw-in as they can try and keep their momentum that they have. Yeah, let's hope anyway, but I don't think so. Life is busy at the minute, so I've only done... So I did quite a few at the start of the season, but this is my first one in about 7 weeks. As Barnes breaks away with it on the left, he clips it into the box, and Edison's there to gather. Castagne's gone into it for the box, and he may have been caught out of possession here. Gundogan will break as he gets it from the Edison roll. He will then release Grealish, who's not got Castagne to deal with, but he has got Daniel Amati to run at. He cuts inside Grealish. He goes on the outside to De Bruyne, who can strike from afar. It's blocked well by Justin and Sayunshu. The block will roll to Rodri. And City again will start as Leicester have got all 11 men behind the ball in their own half. Good spell that for Leicester. Can Grealish score at the King Power? This is where he scored his first Premier League goal in his career for Aston Villa in a 3-2 loss in the season where Leicester ended up going on to win the league. In 2015-2016, as De Bruyne crosses, it's towards Alvarez. Good header by Wout Faes. And it will fall to Maddison in the box, who has to deal with it. He clips around the corner for Castagne, who can't keep it in. Throwing for City. As a head-to-head, their Boxing Day meeting that they had last season was the 125th meeting between the two sides. They're 22nd in the Premier League. For City, in their 22 games they played against Leicester in the Premier League, they've won 13. 6 of them at home, 7 of them away. So usually better away than at home against Leicester City. Akanji across to Rodri, 25 yards away from goal. Lifts it over the top of Cancelo, who brings it down. He's backs to goal. He's towards the corner flag. He turns and gets face on with James Maddison, who's doing his defensive duties well. He goes to Laporte, Cancelo. Inside for Rodri. Across to Akanji. Once more to John Stones. Akanji. Stones. Akanji again. Literally all 11 men still behind the ball here for Leicester City. And Manchester City are about 40 yards away from the goal. So that's how compact and deep they're defending here as De Bruyne slips and the ball goes under his feet. Very unlike Kevin De Bruyne. And Leicester can get it inside towards Harvey Barnes, who then loses out to then Kevin De Bruyne, who gets it forward, completes a 1-2 with Rodri. Left foot. We know he can strike them from far. He hits it with venom, but it was a good save from Danny Ward. De Bruyne, very like him to let the ball go under his feet and for him to then slip. But then he won it back, completed a 1-2 with Rodri. It was very smooth. And we know he can hit him with both feet with power. And he did it with that left boot. But it was saved by Danny Ward. And De Bruyne did score in City's last Premier League match against Brighton at home. And it was a stormer with his right boot. Last season, he was able to score 15 Premier League goals in 30 Premier League matches, which is quite the stat for De Bruyne. He was their top goal scorer in the Premier League in the end last season, with 9 of them coming at home. Ball over the top, look for Julian Alvarez, again, straight into the hands of Danny Ward, who quickly rolls it out to Captain Tielemans, who gets it forward to Maddison, breaking the lines, getting into the space. Maddison tries to get it towards Vardy, blasts it at him, but it will bounce back to Maddison, who will look for Vardy again in behind in the box, but it's just deflected away from the striker. And it will fall into the hands of Edison. But twice now, Leicester have broke, and they've looked dangerous with Maddison, Barnes and Vardy as their front three. De Bruyne and Sayunshu battling on the halfway. De Bruyne wins, and play is continue with an advantage. He looks over the top for Alvarez. And again, not found. Header won by Amati into his goalkeeper, who then rolls out quickly again to Tielemans. It's a carbon copy of the attack that Leicester just built previously. He's had to just go back to Daniel Amati and settle down possession. Leicester have also got 11 goals in their last 5 games. Obviously, they scored 4 in their last game away at Wolves. Tielemans, Barnes, Maddison and Vardy all scoring. You'd probably say they're 4 main attacking assets that they possess. Dewsbury Hall comes out of it nicely, enters the City half and gets it into the feet of Timothy Castagne. Back to number 22, Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. He's had 2 loans at his time at Leicester. He spent time at Blackpool and Luton before breaking into the first team last season, where he played 50 games in all competitions. Dewsbury Hall, 44, in all competitions. Dewsbury Hall last season. 28 of them in the Premier League, scoring 1 goal against Crystal Palace. He's only got the 1 goal so far this season as well in the opening game of the season at home to Brentford in a 2-2 draw. As Leicester still on it, deep in their own half. Dewsbury Hall, he gives it away straight to Rodri. That's really poor. But then Rodri gives it away to De Bruyne. That's even worse. And the counter-attack's on. Tielemans forward to Justin. Gets into Barnes, who's got space. 1-on-1 again with Stones. Will he go on the outside again? He will. Then back on the inside. He trickery. Doesn't get him too far in the end. Good defending from Stones. And he overruns it, Barnes. And it falls into the hands of Edison, who throws it quickly out to Jack Grealish. Enters the Leicester half on the left-hand side. He's have to slow it down completely to go backwards. And Grealish has got a great point. There is absolutely no one around Grealish there where he can pass the ball to. And he didn't really have much space to run into as well. Lucky there for the former Aston Villa man, Jack Grealish, who has missed 3 games so far this season in the Premier League. That was game week 3, 4 and 5. And yet to contribute so far in Champions League, where he's played 5 times. Featured in all group games so far. Thanks to everyone who's here. If you could like and subscribe, that would help me out massively. As Akanji works out to De Bruyne in kind of a right back area where he likes to get the ball, get the ball deep and get those crosses in, where he usually tries to search for Erling Haaland. But unfortunately, he doesn't have that pleasure today. The Norwegian is out, the record breaker. We know how many records he's broken so far this season. As De Bruyne gets it, crosses, header won by Vass. And he'll go for a City throw-in back towards De Bruyne. But Erling Haaland's had an unbelievable season so far. He was the first player to score 6 goals in his first 3 Champions League games. He won Player of the Month as well in August. The fastest player to score 3 hat-tricks in the Premier League. He got that in 8. And the first ever player to score 3 hat-tricks consecutively at home. Crazy stats for Erling Haaland, but they're going to miss him today, Manchester City. As we're over half an hour in, they've still not found the back of the net, even though they have been close a couple of times. And here's Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side, in towards the final third, trying to get beyond James Justin. It's showing him inside, and he has to lay it off to John Stones. It goes across to Aymeric Laporte. Across to Akanji. Stones. He'll go for the switch, out to Grealish. He finds the Englishman, who then lays it off to João Cancelo, takes the touch. It's alive for Alvarez, who lays it back out to Laporte, as City just not trying to rush anything as Akanji goes for the shot. It's blocked. Falls to Cancelo, who nods it back to Laporte. City still keep possession despite the poor shot from Manuel Akanji. Cancelo. Out to Jack Grealish. Finds De Bruyne, who's found himself on the left. He dinks the ball in. It's an easy catch for Danny Wood. And Leicester keep surviving. It's been a decent performance from City. They kept possession well, but their creativity has let them down slightly. It's a wild ball from Leicester looking for Barnes. Too much power. Goes out for a City throw-in. Which is taken quickly by John Stones to Akanji. He's got all the time in the world. And Laporte goes across to Akanji, the Swiss international, who stayed at Dortmund for 4 years before joining Manchester City. Didn't pick up a red card in his 158 appearances for Borussia Dortmund. Cancelo through the legs in behind for Grealish on the byline. He's been clipped. That's got to be a penalty. The referees give a corner, but VAR will have a look. VAR will have to have a look, because I think Dewsbury Hall has clipped Grealish towards the byline there as he tried to cross. I don't think he's dived. I think there was contact. Let's have a look as Dewsbury Hall tried to get the ball. I think that's a penalty. I don't know how the referee hasn't seen that in real time. Cancelo, great ball through the legs of Castagna towards Grealish, who's bursting down towards goal on the byline. And as Dewsbury Hall's tried to get the ball, he's clipped Grealish. That's got to be a penalty. I think Robert Jones, the referee, will be told to have a look. It's not been given. Oh, he's not even looking. Grealish in behind. He's been clipped, clearly. Why isn't VAR allowing the referee to have a look as Grealish puts the cross in from the corner and they're just going to receive another corner from the opposite side? I thought at least that was worth a look for the referee. Obviously, the VAR saw that as a bit soft, and maybe Grealish was looking for it more than anything, but I thought there was a shout for a penalty there, maybe. Clearly not. It's been taken short to De Bruyne, back out to the taker. Bernardo Silva crossed it in first time with his left boot. Headed run by Marty. In the air it goes as Stones keeps it alive. Roger on the edge of the box. Out to Grealish, who goes for a cross shot. It's deflected into the hands of Danny Ward anyway. And Leicester survive once again. Just over 10 minutes to go until half time. Still 0-0 at the King Power. And Leicester fans are getting frustrated with the fact they're getting so camped into their own half. And Marty. Back to Danny Ward. Just about gets out of his feet and clears out up the field towards Castagna, but the head's been won by Cancelo, kept alive by Grealish. Back to the Portuguese left back who tries to get beyond Daniel Amati, but he loses out. And Maddison looks for Barnes on the left hand side, who will let James Justin take over. He looks for Barnes again in behind. Oh, it's a great ball and he keeps it in. Barnes has been the real outlet for Leicester so far today. Cuts inside onto his right foot and goes for the strike, and that is a woeful attempt. And that will be a goal kick for Manchester City. Great ball from Justin down the left-hand side, where he found Barnes, and John Stones was always chasing back. And he got back into position, let him cut inside onto his right foot, and the shot was horrific. Didn't get his foot around it at all. Laporte for Manchester City. Can they break their deadlock before half-time? Enters the Leicester half, not really being pressed from Maddison. He will get it out to Cancelo on the left-hand side, who's currently on the 2 goals for Manchester City so far this season against Nottingham Forest and Southampton, both at home. And he gets the ball out wide again from Ilkay Gundogan, who makes a run towards the box. A lot of players in the box here for City. They've got to get it in there if they can. Laporte on the angle, goes back out instead to Cancelo. Onto his right foot. And he goes across to Akanji. So far forward in Manchester City. Stones, Gundogan, De Bruyne, Stones again. All 11 players behind the ball for Leicester City. I'm Eric. Laporte, great ball through to De Bruyne on the edge. Just has to play it back to Cancelo as he's getting tackled by Daniel Amati. Now with Grealish on the left, who had a close penalty call about 2 minutes ago. Cancelo completes a tidy 1-2 with De Bruyne on the edge of the box. And then he finds a ball to the far post towards Bernardo Silva. And it's just taken away from him. A vital header by James Justin to head it behind for a corner. Bernardo Silva was in behind there and he was looking to maybe get that squared across. But Justin with a key header. He concedes the corner, but it was needed. It was very much needed there from the English left wing back. The City have gone short quite a few times so far from corners. This time it will be clipped in from De Bruyne towards Laporte, who does win the header. It will trickle wide of the post. And again, it stays 0-0. This is showing Leicester's new found defensive strength that they didn't have at the start of the season. Hence why they've conceded 24 goals so far this season. Averaging 2 goals a game conceded. Manchester City have won the last 3 games against Leicester. Their last defeat to Leicester was that 5-2 misery defeat they picked up at home during COVID, where City did go 1-0 up but then fell behind 5-1. I'm pretty sure, or 4-1, and then in the end it ended 5-2. And in the last 10 games between the 2 sides in all competitions, Leicester have won 3 and Manchester City have won 7. City have won 11 in the last 15 against Leicester in all competitions. So it is a favourable fixture for Manchester City in recent times, for sure. As Stormzy has attended the King Power Stadium for today's game. And they did pan afterwards to James Maddison, so maybe Maddison and Stormzy have got a little bit of a link-up, bit of a connection, maybe, because I know Stormzy is a Manchester United fan. Dewsbury Hall out to Harvey Barnes in the final third. He's caused the most danger for City so far. Harvey Barnes, Dewsbury Hall's heavy touch is giving it away to Bernardo Silva, and the counter-attack could be on. It's not the first time Dewsbury Hall's give it away. Bernardo Silva releases it out to Grealish on the left. He's got loads of room to run into on the left. He's just got to run at these players now, Jack Grealish. Run at them. And he does do so, enters the box, lays it off to De Bruyne on the left, tries to get it across, blocked by Daniel Amati. Corner kick for Manchester City, and Grealish is doing what Grealish does best, run at defenders. And that's what he did there. And De Bruyne looks like he wants to take a quick in-swinging corner. He's got height to aim for in that box. Will he find anyone with 5 minutes to go? In-swinger towards the far post towards Manuel Akanji, who loses out, and that'll be a throw-in for Leicester on the opposite side. Close from the Swiss international. Akanji. And there is Pep Guardiola, 4-time Premier League champion, 2-time Champions League winner, 2 times best coach. And this is 370th Manchester City game he's managed in all competitions. And against Brighton, his team scored his 600th goal under him in the Premier League. They're now on 601. Crazy stats for Guardiola and Manchester City. As João Cancelo has it. Only on the 1 assist so far in the Premier League, the Portuguese international. I think we're back. If you just got any buffer in there, I do apologise. I think we're okay now. Yeah, I think we're back. Just City throwing on the left-hand side as they still try and attack the Leicester goal. Yeah, I think we're okay now. That got me panicking there a little bit. We will continue. Hopefully everyone did stick around. John Stones has it. 25 yards away from goal. Lays it off to Roderick. All 11 Leicester players behind the ball. It's crazy. That includes Jamie Vardy as well, who's not had much of a sniff. Stones in the box on the right, back to goal. So I'll have to lay it off back out to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. Left-footed cross, headed away by Kaglar Sayuncu, who's had a good game so far for Leicester, despite it being his first one in the season for the Premier League. Bernardo Silva goes for a deep cross. It's blocked by Justin. Throwing for Manchester City once again. It's been resolute from Leicester. Laporte assessing the options and goes out to Cancelo on the left. Down the line to Jack Grealish. Tries to take on Daniel Amati and will win the corner. Always give a goal kick. You might remember Robert Jones last week getting some bad press after his refereeing performance. Oh my days, that is so obviously a corner. That is horrific refereeing. Like I say, Robert Jones got some bad stick last week for the refereeing he did against Southampton Arsenal. A penalty that wasn't given to Arsenal and just bad decisions towards Arsenal. That is so clearly a corner kick. Leicester got lucky there. Grealish went a long way around Amati. He got the cross in before it went out and it deflected off Amati. Should have been a corner. The referee gave a goal kick. Horrific, embarrassing refereeing, but we're going to continue with Leicester clearing up the field with Danny Ward looking for Vardy. Akanji will be able to head it down though to Laporte. And again, no real press on the City centre-backs. As it's back out to Akanji just inside the City half. Goes forward to John Stones at right back. Slowing it down. Stones to De Bruyne. Everyone behind the ball. Again, that's how deep De Bruyne is as well, to be fair, by the way. Even he's behind every player. Laporte. Out to Cancelo on the far left-hand side. Goes across to Akanji, who's taken up a more central position on the pitch. Goes out to the right to De Bruyne. Tries to take on Harvey Barnes. Goes for an early cross. It deflects. And it'll go out for a Manchester City throw-in, which we're nearing added on time. De Bruyne throws it all the way back towards Akanji, Who will let Bernardo Silva take over. One-on-one with Vardy. Gets away from the striker. Finds De Bruyne. In behind, down the line for Bernardo Silva. He's allowed to get the crossing with the right foot towards the back post where Cancelo hooks it in. And it's well dealt with by James Maddison in the 6-yard box. Doing his defensive duties very well today. Maddison, he's more known for his attacking capabilities. But today he's really had to defend well with Castagna on that right-hand side to deal with Cancelo and Grealish. And he's done really well to deflect that cross for a corner. And here's Grealish. It's an in-swinger towards Danny Ward, who does catch very nicely, to be fair. Not a bad ball from Grealish in the 6-yard box, but it was confidently dealt with there by Danny Ward, who had to deal with Akanji coming in, looking to try and win the header. Danny Ward, 10 seconds to go till added on time. Up it goes towards Maddison, header won by Laporte. Almost by Soyuncu's touches a bit heavy, but he gets it to Tielemans. He finds Dewsbury Hall on the halfway, who loses out to Rodri. Bernardo Silva's got it. Counter-attacks on. Tries to release to Alvarez. It deflects to the left-hand side instead to De Bruyne. Leicester have got plays back quickly, but De Bruyne finds Alvarez on the right-hand side. He holds it up on his left foot, gets across, and it's flicked towards the back post. And I think that'll be a corner. It's a teasing ball from the Argentine, and I think it was Wout Faes who headed it behind in the end. He got away from James Justin Alvarez. He got a left-footed ball in towards the far post, towards Jack Grealish, but in the end it was headed behind for a corner. 1 minute added on, we played 35 seconds of it. 25 seconds to go. Crossed in. Better ball towards Akanji again, but the header's unsuccessful. It'll roll for a goal kick for Leicester, and I think that'll be it for the first half. Guardiola will have much to say at half-time to get his team to break through this Leicester defence, which they haven't been able to do so far. It is half-time at the King Power Stadium. It has finished so far after the first 45. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0. Frustration so far, and Grealish has taken it up with the referee to discuss that corner that he wasn't given. And the referee's just telling the players to go away. But Grealish, I know it was only a corner, but Grealish is rightly frustrated. It was such a shocking decision. Again, it was only a corner, but Grealish for that cross had so clearly kept it in. And we've heard in the past, Leicester are not great at defending corners. So any corner they can get City, they want to take advantage of it. And the fact he didn't see it and give a goal kick, Grealish has every right to be frustrated. And like I say last week, Robert Jones was given stick for his performance refereeing against Southampton Arsenal, and again he's had a shocker there. But at half time, like I say, it's Leicester City 0, Manchester City 0. We'll have a look through the stats as well at half time and see how close this game has been. Leicester have had the 2 shots, 1 on target. The 1 on target was a great save that was forced by Edison, and that was in the 24th minute. But before that, City have had a few chances. Alvarez has had a shot on at goal. It was offside, but if he had scored, then it would have been offside because VAR would have overruled it. And Bernardo Silva also had a chance as well in the 17th minute. But then Leicester had their chance in the 24th minute. And then after that, City just kept building the pressure. Not really had a major chance. There's a little penalty shout through Grealish about 15 minutes before the end of the half, but that wasn't given. So at half-time it is 0-0. City have had 10 shots, 4 on target, 67% possession. It's Leicester with the 2 shots, 1 on target. But when Leicester have broke the 2 times they have, they've looked pretty dangerous. Will they be able to upset the odds? We'll have to wait and see. But it's all square at half-time at the King Power Stadium. I've just got to sort something out. I will be back in a few minutes and we'll discuss the first half and what we expect from the second half. But I've just got to go and sort something out very, very quickly. I'll be back in about a minute or two. We are back once again, just sorting out travel. Got a 3 o'clock kickoff got to make. I've said it before, so I'm not going to hide it. Obviously, I support 2 teams, whatever, but I do support a Premier League team. But then I also support Stockport County, who are in League 2. So they're playing at 3, so pretty much after this going straight there. But interestingly enough, I was going to mention it in the game, but I thought, nah, leave it till half time. As I mentioned for Soyuncu, his only appearance before today in the season was against Stockport County in the League Cup. That was at Edgeley Park, County's ground, and I was there. So I did watch Leicester in person this season. Obviously, wasn't a full second team because Barnes started, Tielemans started, the likes of Daka started, Iheanacho started. So it wasn't like a full, second string team. But yeah, it was during the times where they were really struggling. Obviously, weren't winning games and conceding a lot. And then the Stockport County fans started chanting Rodgers out, which I found quite funny. They did progress in the end, Leicester, to the second round of the League Cup, where they'll play Newport County on the 8th of November. They won on penalties 3-1. But yeah, I thought I'd mention that at half time. I have seen Leicester in person this season, and it was 0-0 in the end, and then they won on penalties. But yeah, they weren't they weren't the greatest. Let's just say that they weren't too good, but they got the win in the end, didn't they? That's what they came for. So it's one of those, isn't it? But I thought that was just interesting. But yeah, that's why I just went before sorting out how I'm getting there. I'm getting there straight after this. I'm off to the football. So yeah. But still 0-0 at half time so far. The only game City have failed to score in so far this season was Liverpool. So could it happen again? Because Leicester have been strong defensively. It's definitely been attack versus defence, but Leicester have had their odd counter-attack where they've got half close. But if we have a look at Leicester's next 3 fixtures, sandwiched in between their next 2 Premier League games is that League Cup second round against Newport County. But in between that, their next game is Everton away next week. And then after that, the week after, is a West Ham away. That's their last game before the World Cup. So if they can get a draw today, even if they lose today, but then they can go to Everton and West Ham and maybe pick up a win and a draw. For the start they had, I don't think it's the worst kind of mid-season break that could ever happen for Leicester. If we look at the start of the season, after their 2-2 draw to Brentford, they then went and lost 6 in a row, where they scored 8 and conceded 20 goals, which is quite poor. And in games so far this season, they conceded 4 to Arsenal in game week 2. They conceded 5 then to Brighton in game week 6, and then they conceded 6 to Spurs in game week 8. So then those games were all away from home. So especially at home, they do struggle to keep the door shut. But at home, it's obviously a little bit different, and they are not conceding as much. And against a team like Manchester City, you need to be on it. And that's exactly what they are doing so far. They are on it for sure. But like I say, it is literally attack versus defence. Like, it's actually crazy. How many times during the first half commentary did I say every Leicester man is behind the ball, including Jamie Vardy? So, some people like to say, sometimes City can be a little bit boring when they're like playing the smaller teams when it's not as open. But like, what can City do? Do you know what I mean? It's like when you're playing against 11 men behind the ball, sitting so deep. Because they weren't just sitting 11 men behind the ball. How deep they were sat as well, including Vardy. It's difficult, and but that's why City are so good. That's why they've been so successful, because they are able to break down these low blocks. But the second half will be getting underway in just around 3 minutes' time. And City will look to get the win. As away from home, they have dropped a lot of points so far. Their away record last season in the Premier League was pretty decent. They won 14, drew 4, and only lost the 1, and that was to Spurs on the opening day last season. And as well, the last time City lost 2 in a row away from home was at the start of last season and the end of the season before that, where they lost to Brighton away when they'd become champions, and when they lost the opening game of the season next to Spurs at home, which was Nuno Espirito Santo's first game as Spurs manager. So that didn't last too long. And as well, you've got to remember in terms of Leicester at home, obviously I've mentioned a few times before, this is their last game at home before the World Cup. They'll want to try and go out with a bang. I know it's against Manchester City, but they'll want to impress these home fans, and they'll want to send a message of what they can bring when the season kickstarts again. So it'll just be interesting to see how they manage the second half. Let's get ready for this second half, as we're just a minute or so away. Will we get the first goal in the game? That is the question. Hopefully we don't have a 0-0, because these two sides have had the most goals in games so far this season, including Leicester. That's mainly because they've conceded so many. City have had 47 goals in games so far this season, including ones they've conceded, and Leicester have had 45. So they are the two teams with the most goals in games so far this season. So that would equal usually a goal fest, but unfortunately it's 0-0 at half time, which is not what we want. We hope for goals. Let's see which way the game turns. Also, if we want to have a look just quickly at all the games so far, 3 o'clock kickoffs. We've got a lot of 3 o'clock kickoffs. We've got Bournemouth, Spurs, Brentford, Wolves, Brighton, Chelsea. Interesting game. Graham Potter going back to Brighton, Crystal Palace, Southampton, Newcastle, Aston Villa as well. In terms of my fantasy team, because I've got to mention it because I'm well into fantasy Premier League this year, I've got Cancelo and Cancelo, De Bruyne. Haaland I did have in because it was obviously a hit and miss if he's going to play, but my first substitute is Maddison. So if Maddison wants to, score a free kick or anything, I'll take the points on the fantasy for sure. Change for Leicester. This might have been forced, but if it's Dewsbury Hall, that wouldn't surprise me. Napoli's Mendy is on, and I think it is Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. But I don't want to confirm that until I see it. But Napoli's Mendy has come on for Leicester, the number 24, the holding midfielder, and he's replaced Kiernan Dewsbury Hall. I don't think that's injury reasoning. He was struggling a little bit in that midfield as we do kick off for the second half. Sorry, the timer might be a little bit off there by a second or two. But we're underway as City's already got the ball back here, kicking from left to right. Leicester right to left. Cancelo bursting down the left-hand side. Tries to get a ball inside. Blocked off by Tielemans. Castagna tries to go inside. Here's Mendy. Gets it back out. Tielemans on the far right-hand side. Tries to get it forward towards Maddison. Cut out by Rodri. Chest down by Alvarez. To De Bruyne. Finds Bernardo Silva in behind. Just a bit too heavy, but he keeps it in. And he gets the ball inside himself to Rodri. Just wide. Right on the edge of the box. Rodri attaches cleanly to that Bernardo Silva pullback. And as he got a clean contact on it, Rodri, he diverted it just wide. He's already had one goal so far this season disallowed in all competitions. That came away at Copenhagen. And he was close again. Just under a minute in. Leicester 0, City 0. But yeah, like I say, for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall coming on at half-time, he gave the ball away a lot in key areas. If you give the way the ball in the opposition half, then it's not the end of the world. But he was giving it away in his own half where they're trying to play out from the back, and it was risky. And I just don't think Rodgers wanted to take any more risk. Remember, he's still young. Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall is only 24. It was his 60th appearance today for Leicester. So I just think the game was too much for Kiernan Dewsbury-Hall, and he's been replaced at half-time by Napoli's Mendy. Tielemans gives it away for Leicester, and he gives it to Manchester City with Grealish bursting away. He enters the Leicester half. This is good running here from Jack Grealish. He plays out wide right to Bernardo Silva. He's got the overlap of Kevin De Bruyne, and he finds him in the box. He'll be tackled by Sancho. And I think there was an offside or a goal kick. I think it was a goal kick given from the linesman. Better from City already 2 minutes in. Seems a bit more... Yeah, he was offside for sure, De Bruyne. Just seems a bit more open for City in the opening stages of this second half. Here's Danny Ward with the goal kick. So his second appearance against Manchester City. The other one came back in the 2018-2019 season in the EFL League Cup. Oh, Grealish brings it down beautifully. He's not got much support, so he does have to hold it up. He's got Alvarez to his left. Grealish is being brought down from behind by Mendy, and that'll be a free kick for Manchester City. Well won from Jack Grealish. Only had Alvarez as an option, but before he could play it into the Argentine, he was clipped behind from Mendy. He just clipped the back of his calf there, which he may not have felt, Grealish, really, because his calves are massive. But it's a free kick in a dangerous area for Manchester City. Really dangerous area. Around 25 yards out, just to the left of the box. So it's more suited for a right footer. And that right footer might be Kevin De Bruyne. Danny Ward will be slightly nervous, like any goalkeeper would when facing a free kick from De Bruyne from that kind of distance. He's only got the 2 goals so far in the Premier League this season. He got one in his last game against Brighton. He's yet to score away from home so far in the Premier League for the 22-23 campaign. Maddison is laid under or behind the wall. De Bruyne, he gets it over and under the wall, and that's a fantastic goal from De Bruyne. He is one of a kind. An unbelievable strike from the Belgian. He got it over the wall and under the crossbar, and he gives Manchester City an away lead that they so desperately wanted and they have received. And that's all through the class and quality of Kevin De Bruyne. What a free kick. Perfect. Over the wall, under the crossbar. It took a nick off the inside of the post and into the back of the net. It's Leicester 0, Manchester City 1. It's De Bruyne at it again. Goals in back-to-back Premier League matches. And if you want to know how to score a free kick in the Premier League from that kind of range, just ask Kev, because he will give you the answer. Unbelievable strike. The way he got it over the wall, under the crossbar, and just got that slight nick off the post to get it into the back of the net is different quality from the Belgian. Is Leicester trying to get in behind here with Vardy. He's kept it alive on the right-hand side. City take a lead that they wanted badly in the first half, but they've got it early in the second instead. Castagna on the right. It breaks here in the end. for Vardy. Tried to scoop it towards Barnes in the box, but it was caught in then by Ederson. What a free kick that is. By Kevin De Bruyne. All came from the free kick that Grealish won. Many people might not mention that, but Grealish did win that free kick and De Bruyne dispatched it beautifully. It's his 60th Premier League goal for Manchester City. It's his 89th in all competitions for the club. And the 31-year-old has put his side ahead against Leicester City. And when City have scored first this season, they've not lost. They've won 9 and drawn 2. Here's Akanji. Out to Bernardo Silva. Stones to Akanji. What a goal that was from Kevin De Bruyne. It's his 4th goal against Leicester in his career. He did get one in that 6-3 win last season at the Etihad, as Cancelo wants to try and shoot. It's blocked by Tielemans. It breaks to Vardy. Tielemans, Maddison, to Mendy, who give that free kick away for the goal. It's pushed to the ground by Akanji. That'll be a free kick for Leicester in their own half. We have the deadlock broken at the King Power. And it's Leicester City 0, Manchester City 1. What a goal. What a goal. Like I said, as the free kick was taken, I couldn't quite get my words out. It was just such a beautiful free kick to witness hit the back of the net. As Leicester try and play out from the back here in their own half. It's with Amati. Nice ball forward to Maddison, who's been stuck on that right-hand side for Leicester today. He works it to the left centre half. Kaglar Soyuncu. Justin will burst down the left to get away from Bernardo Silva. He's also got the pressure from Stones, but he played towards Vardy in the box, who was tackled there by Laporte, and he will receive the corner. Vardy for his efforts, the 35-year-old. Nearing 400 Leicester appearances. This is 398. And between his goals at Leicester and Fleetwood, one more goal for him, it would be his 200th club goal. They've got plays to aim for. All 3 centre-halves are up in the box for Leicester. That's Soyuncu, Fass and Amati. Maddison will clip it towards the edge of the box where Tielemans will volley it off the bar! He's still alive. Amati with the header into the hands of Ederson. I have a feeling Ederson got a touch to that. But if he didn't, Tielemans has rattled the crossbar. What a technique that is, to volley it with such clean contact. Oh, it's a brilliant save from Ederson. It's a brilliant save onto the crossbar. Yes, it might be directed right towards him. But to react the way he did, to clip that, to flip that onto the crossbar, that's why he's one of the best goalkeepers in the league. That's why he's had 3 golden gloves on the bounce now. Unbelievable save. Maddison to clip it straight onto the foot of Tielemans in that way with such precision was beautiful. And then the way Tielemans, with the technique, bit of a side-footed volley towards goal, was unbelievable. But the save to get it onto the crossbar to keep City ahead is exactly why City paid $35 million for the Brazilian 5 years ago. Grealish on the left. Lays it off into Cancelo. He's got the pressure of Maddison to get away from here. And he works it to Laporte. It's been a frightening, vicious start to the second half for both sides. City scoring a goal and Leicester coming ever so close. Akanji works out to Stones on the right. Silva goes back to Akanji, who's had to go to the halfway line to recycle the ball. In their Premier League history as well, City will pick up their 340th clean sheet. And this is their 974th game in their Premier League history. And here's Bernardo Silva. Cuts onto his left foot. Tries to get a cross in. It's come off the head of Kaglar Soyuncu. Vardy flicks on. It'll fall to Maddison, who has to hold up here. And he'll play it to Tielemans on the right-hand side. Castagna will take over. Being pressed from Alvarez. He loses out to Grealish. What a slide tackle that is from Grealish. And they've got the ball here, Manchester City. Alvarez inside to Gundogan. Once more to De Bruyne. Will he want a second goal? Will he fancy it? He fancies it, but he can't get the shot towards the goalkeeper as it's blocked by Mendy. But it's kept alive from City with De Bruyne. Works it to the left to Grealish, who keeps it in. One-on-one with Castagna. Now back to Cancelo. Once more to Rodri. And across to Akanji. City want a second. They want to double their lead. They want some breathing space. Akanji. To Laporte. Again, sat deep. Leicester. They don't want to concede a second themselves. To Ilkay Gundogan, who's got his contract expiring at the end of the season. Teams like Juventus and Bayern Munich are interested in the former Dortmund man. Pep Guardiola's first signing for Manchester City. Bernardo Silva, again, trying to cut onto his left. He lays it off to Akanji. Not rushing anything, Manchester City. They know patience pays off. Laporte. It's Cancelo. Laporte again. Akanji. It's Bernardo Silva. It's all in the Leicester half here, just playing it around here. Manchester City waiting for the gaps to appear. As Leicester slightly push up the field, but De Bruyne sees space on the left there for Cancelo, and he finds it with a peach of a ball. Cancelo, cross, flicked on by Grealish all the way over towards Bernardo Silva on the far side, who lets it roll. And I don't think he should have let it roll, because I think that's a goal kick for Leicester. But what a corner that was from Maddison to find Tielemans on the edge of the box, completely unmarked as well, may I add. And what technique that is from Tielemans to volley it towards goal, but the save from Edison's brilliant. Again, it is right towards him, but the pace that's coming at him to get the power in his hands to tip it onto the bar, I think that's fantastic goalkeeping. Hence why he has won 3 Golden Gloves in a row. The Brazilian. As Leicester have it, playing out from the back in their 18-yard box with Kaglasenchu. Turkey aren't going to the World Cup, but if they were, he would have picked up his 50th appearance for his country. And if James Maddison is to score today, he will go second in Leicester's all-time Premier League top scorers. Obviously behind Vardy, who's first, but he would go above. He would go above Riyad Mahrez, who's on 39 for Leicester. Maddison is also on 39 as well. And Vardy just fouled Akanji there, but he didn't agree with the referee's decision and definitely gave him a piece of his mind. I can't quite use the language that Vardy directed at him. I'm surprised he didn't get booked, to be honest, with that language. As Bernardo Silva bursts away on the right, tries to get inside in the box, but Sancho slams that door shut and says, no, you can't enter. But he lets De Bruyne in because he gives the ball straight to him with a wayward pass. And here's John Stones to Ilkay Gundogan. Again, all 11 players for Leicester behind the ball as Rodri commands possession. Stones into the space for Bernardo Silva, who scored here last season. He backheels it to De Bruyne, who will cross a ball in straight into the hands of Danny Ward. Easy save for the former Liverpool man, who rolls it out quickly to Castagna, the right wing back. He has to slow it down and go back to Amati. He goes to the edge of the 18-yard box to Wout Faes. Did finish 8th last season. Leicester, 4 points off 7th. West Ham, who got Europa Conference League football. Something that Leicester did get to the semi-final of last year, where they were beaten against eventual champions Roma. And Wout Faes, bad pass out wide right to Daniel Amati. And that's a throw-in for City inside the Leicester half. They can't be giving that away to City because they will punish. Just over half an hour to go. Leicester City 0, Manchester City 1. We are separated through a De Bruyne free kick, 25 yards out in the 49th minute. It's De Bruyne's 3rd goal of the season. Now in 12 Premier League games, including today. He's got 12 goal contributions. Akanji just inside the City half. Keeps it clean with a nice simple 5-yard ball to Stones, who then goes across to Aymeric Laporte. Akanji. Out wide right to Kevin De Bruyne, who's got the support of Stones, and he will use that support. And De Bruyne, when asked last week if he had to pick 3 City players to be on a desert island with, he chose Stones, Walker and Ake. He picked John Stones and Kyle Walker for their humour and their banter. And then he picked Ake because he's the best mate at Manchester City, which I found quite interesting. And here is De Bruyne again, left-footed ball, out to Cancelo on the left, just inside the box. He crosses it towards the far post where it ends up to Bernardo Silva, his Portuguese teammate. And he can't quite control it, and out for a goal kick it goes. It's a great find from Cancelo. He was allowed to get on that right foot, and he was allowed to cross, and Bernardo Silva just didn't quite expect the ball to fall towards him. And in the end, it's a goal kick. Grealish was credited on fantasy with that assist. Don't know if that'll actually count in the Premier League record books. Danny Ward's goal kick. Header won by Rodri. Falls to Alvarez. He's been pretty quiet this game. And it's now with De Bruyne. He works it to Bernardo Silva on the right-hand side. He's tackled by James Justin. And Harvey Barnes gets it away from him. And he takes on De Bruyne. Great skill from Barnes. Getting away from Bernardo Silva as well. And Rodri. But Stones tackles him in the end. That's a good run, though, from Harvey Barnes. Because John Stones was getting forced towards his corner flag there. But as he tried to clear it, came off Harvey Barnes. And a goal kick it is. A goal kick it is for Manchester City. Well defended there by John Stones because Harvey Barnes had really got into 5th gear there as he was running at the City defence because no one could stop him. Here's Laporte for Manchester City. Despite 6-3 being a high-scoring game last season between these two sides in the Premier League on Boxing Day, that wasn't the highest-scoring fixture. The highest-scoring fixture we've had in this game between the two sides was when it was Leicester 8, Manchester City 4, back in 1958. So I don't think we'll quite be beating that today because we've got a bit of a cagey 1-0 so far, but 12 goals back in 1958. Leicester forward Jimmy Walsh scored 4 that day for Leicester. Again, all plays for Leicester behind the ball. As Cancelo has it, he's just gone inside for the ball. Not quite out wide like he usually is. De Bruyne. The man separating the two sides. Stones to Rodri. Spins around. Goes back to Stones again. Then to Rodri. Laporte. Making his second start of the Premier League season. Back-to-back starts for him as he returns from an injury picked up at the end of last season, which kept him out for the start of this season. But he's back and he's starting once again. One of Pep's favourites for sure. De Bruyne, what a ball that is with the outside of the boot to find Grealish on the left. He tries to let it off to Cancelo, but his body positioning wasn't right. And Vardy can clear, but only as far as Laporte on the halfway. So City will just come at Leicester again. Grealish taking too long to release the ball, but he does win a throw-in. Cancelo now to Aymeric Laporte. One of his 4 Premier League goals last season for Laporte was away from home. And I believe it was to Southampton away in a 1-1 away draw. Akanji. Out to Bernardo Silva. It is almost like a training game, the pace of this. It's like a snail's pace. Everyone's walking around, but we know City can turn it on pretty quick, so Leicester have got to stay concentrated. They've got to stay alert. Grealish being closed down by James Maddison, who's had to put a real shift in defensively today. James Maddison really showing his defensive work rate, the 25-year-old. Akanji. Laporte. Rodri. Stones. Just in the halfway line now for City. They've just been forced slightly further back. De Bruyne. Akanji. I wish I could make this commentary more exciting, but it's literally City playing it around their midfield and defence. until De Bruyne puts a ball in behind for Bernardo Silva. Danny Ward decided to stay, and to stay was the right decision because Bernardo Silva's touch to try and get away from Sancho fell straight into the gloves of the goalkeeper. As they try and get away quickly there, De Bruyne just tangles legs with Yuri Tielemans. Don't think he's going to book him there, Robert Jones. I think it's more of a coming together. He's going to give De Bruyne a warning there, the referee. As Tielemans got it, yeah, just De Bruyne tried to win the ball and just couldn't quite slow down. He's rolled out to Tielemans by Danny Ward. Yeah, he tried to get the ball. He's just gone into the back of Tielemans. Maddison trying to say how it was a yellow, and I'm not going to lie, if I can lip read, I think Maddison's just said to the referee, "You're rubbish." Could be wrong. I don't want to put words into Maddison's mouth, but if I can lip read correctly, I think that's what he said. Obviously, he thinks that Tielemans should have got De Bruyne booked there. But Danny Ward's clearance has gone straight back to Stones, who will lay it off to Ederson. And again, we restart with City in possession. This could be a long one. But City did bring in 5 players in the summer. Haaland, Phillips, who's returning from injury pretty soon, Alvarez, Gomez, Stefan Ortega, the goalkeeper. And they, this season, they did have 18 players depart. 6 for a fee, 5 on loan, 6 on loan, 6 for a fee, 5 on a free. 6 on loan, gaining around 150 from player transfers, sales, because obviously they sold the likes of Sterling and Jesus. Some people they're not missing this season, they're still scoring the goals. Cancelo has been found in behind from Rodri, cutting onto his right foot in the box. He's been tackled by Amati though because he got beyond Tielemans and Castagna well, but he did one touch too many, and Leicester could try and get out from the back here with Barnes playing a risky ball to Justin, who got collated in from behind. Thankfully for him, he wins the free kick from Rodri. Still 1-0, so still a chance for Leicester to maybe get an equaliser here. Mendy goes back to Wout Faes. Tielemans out to the right to Castagna, who enters the Manchester City half, but then goes back into the half for Tielemans to have the ball. It's now a Faes to Sancho. Gets the ball forward to James Justin. Just the one England appearance for him, and that was in the last set of internationals at the end of last season, where he got on a 45-minute appearance to England's 1-0 loss to Hungary back on the 4th of June. I'm presuming James Justin will make the 55 provisional man squad that Southgate is set to announce soon. But it'll be interesting if he makes the 23, 26-man squad that you're allowed at the World Cup. Sancho, ball in behind, looking towards Maddison. It's not far away from the Leicester winger. Ederson was out in the end to collect. But that wasn't far away. That really wasn't far away. Good ball. Nearly found its intended target. But unfortunately for Leicester, they've got some more defending to do now with De Bruyne on the ball. Goes to the halfway line to Rodri, the holding midfielder, who was at Atletico Madrid from 2007 to 2013. Then left for Villarreal from 2013 to 2018 before joining back to Atletico Madrid for a year, before joining Manchester City for £62.8 million, which was his release clause at the time. De Bruyne on that right-hand side again, looking to open this Leicester defence. He just takes the ball across and finds Laporte. Cancelo to Laporte once again. He also scored in that 6-3 victory for City last season against Leicester at the Etihad Stadium. Akanji. Laporte. Stones. So well drilled, Manchester City. It's quite frightening as Stones looks for De Bruyne in behind, cut out by Justin. It's now with Barnes. Justin again, forward to Mendy as they play out from the back. Releases to Barnes, tries to get to Mendy again. It's a misplaced ball. Rodri picks up. Alvarez to De Bruyne. Over to Gundogan, who's not been great today in terms of contribution. Not said his main name too many times. It's now with Cancelo. Finds De Bruyne. He's got Vardy pressing him from behind. He keeps it away from the striker. And finds Grealish, who works it to Cancelo. And once again, we're on the halfway line. No changes yet from Manchester City. Off the bench, they do have the likes of Phil Foden and Riyad Mahrez in an attacking sense. Other than that, the rest of the substitutes are defenders, really. Switch out to Cancelo. Chests it down beautifully. Signed a contract this year. Cancelo to add another 5 years to his stay till 2027. Stones. Kanji. Stones again. 20 minutes to go. Leicester 0, Manchester City 1. Ball over the top looking for Grealish. He's going to chase it down ahead of Martin. He will get there ahead of the Ghanaian. And he will win the goal kick there. The Ghanaian, good defending. Daniel Martin's also got a contract up at the end of the year as well. Just showing that De Bruyne free kick again in the 49th minute. Over the wall, under the crossbar, off the inside of the post. It's just a perfect free kick. And it's gorgeous to watch back. I don't think it's quite goal of the month. De Bruyne has won goal of the month twice. Both in the 2019-2020 season. As we've got changes that are never attacking changes. Leicester are going to ditch the back five. Soyuncu comes off for Patson Daka. And Jamie Vardy is going to be replaced by Kelechi Iheanacho, the former Manchester City man. So it looks like Leicester are going to go to a back four and go for it for the next 20 minutes. Jamie Vardy, who's been at the club now for 10 years, is replaced. And they've got a substitute as well for Manchester City. Manuel Akanji is going to be replaced by Ruben Diaz, who's been put on the bench for the second time so far this season. The other time was against Manchester City and he didn't even come on, but this time he does. So 2 changes for Leicester. It's their third of the game. Vardy and Soyuncu off. Soyuncu making his first Premier League appearance of the season. He did okay. And Vardy replaced by Daka and Iheanacho, 2 strikers. As Danny Ward just about clips out to Castagna at right wing back as they play out from the 18-yard box. Tielemans, nice one too with Castagna inside to Mendy. Pressed by Bernardo Silva, but gets it away from the Portuguese international. Then he gets it forward to Kelechi Iheanacho, the former City man, who looks for Patson Daka in behind. It's not far away. Diaz wins it. Ederson clears. This could definitely change the game now. With Daka and Iheanacho on. For Patson Daka, he's got 3 goals so far this season in the Premier League. Against Brighton, Forest and Bournemouth. And for Iheanacho, he's got the 1 goal. That came in his only start so far, and that was away to Brighton in the first minute where they lost 5-2. Mendy out to James Justin at left wing back, still in the Leicester half. Gets it forward to Harvey Barnes, who enters the City half. He looks to run at the defence. He lays it off into Maddison, who goes inside to Daka, gets the return. James Maddison getting it out of his feet and gets the switch over, looking towards Castagna, but it's Grealish who picks it up. And Grealish is brought down by Tielemans. It's a nasty one on Jack Grealish. And that'll be a free kick for Manchester City in their own half. He got the ball away from Castagna there, Grealish, but couldn't quite get away from Tielemans because he brought him down cynically. Don't think there's a book in there for Tielemans, and Grealish is back on his feet and City are back underway playing. Ruben Diaz, who's just come on as a substitute, signed 2 years ago for £62 million from Benfica. Rodri just about keeps it alive there as Ilkay Gundogan was put under pressure there. And for Ruben Diaz, all 3 Premier League games he's played against Leicester, they've won. He has been beaten by Leicester once, and that was in the Community Shield. That was obviously after everyone returned late for Manchester City, but Ruben Diaz entered a little bit sooner as he gives away a free kick here against Harvey Barnes on the left. As both players were going for it, Ruben Diaz's boot was high, and the referee deems that a free kick. The ball was bouncing. I don't think that's a free kick, to be honest. Ruben Diaz has clearly got the ball first. His boot has gone into Barnes, but I don't know. I'm not sure. I can see why he's given it, because his boot was high, but it wasn't dangerously high. His studs weren't showing. I think De Bruyne's making that argument to Robert Jones. But this is a really dangerous free kick position for Maddison to take from. It's on the far left, so it's not like a shooting opportunity where De Bruyne's was. Maddison's a lot wider on the left, so it's definitely a crossing opportunity, but maybe it could sneak all the way through for Maddison to secure a goal. We'll have to wait and see. 15 minutes to go. Diaz concedes the free kick. Like Mendy for Leicester, he was a substitute who conceded the free kick for De Bruyne's goal. Maddison swings it in. Header won by Diaz. It falls to the feet of Iheanacho. And in the end, it's cleared by Diaz. Not quite as successful as Leicester would have wanted it to have been. That set piece. As Iheanacho is arguing the case that he was held in the box, and VAR is going to have a quick look at it. VAR for today is Chris Kavanagh, and his assistant VAR is Simon Long. They saw nothing wrong with it. Play continues for Leicester City in their own half with Daniel and Marty. Justin back to Danny Ward, the 29-year-old goalkeeper. He looks for Castagna, overhit, thrown for Manchester City. As they're looking like they're going to make their second change of the game. The Blues, and it looks like it's going to be Phil Foden. Benched for the second consecutive Premier League game. He was benched against Brighton as well. Ruben Diaz. Stones. Nice ball looking inside for Alvarez, but it's been picked up. Tielemans relays it into Maddison, who then gets it forward to Iheanacho, who tries the early strike. Scuffs it wide of the post, but it's well worked by Leicester. It was quickly worked by Leicester as well. It was an inventive ball from Maddison. It was Vass who intercepted Tielemans forward to Maddison, who slipped it in behind for Iheanacho, who tried to take the shot quickly, but in the end he kicked it off the other foot, and wide it went. Edison had it covered. Still Leicester 0, Manchester City 1. And City are going to make their change now, I think, with Phil Foden coming on. Julian Alvarez to be substituted. A quiet one for the Argentine. Didn't quite pose as much threat as I would have expected to, but again, he's adapting to a new league. Julian Alvarez didn't quite get into many goal-scoring opportunities. He did in the first half, where he was deemed offside, but he was actually onside. So if he'd got the ball past Danny Ward, it would have counted, but adds to the experience of the youngster as he was replaced by Phil Foden. And as we get back underway, Gundogan's bursting away. He finds De Bruyne to his right. Further on to his right is Bernardo Silva in the box. Cuts in onto his left foot. Good tackle from James Justin. It falls to Iheanacho, who can't get beyond Rodri. It's now De Bruyne. Flicks over the head of Mendy. Tries to keep it alive here, De Bruyne. And he does. Foden headed back towards De Bruyne. Loses out to Mendy. But the ball trickles back to Bernardo Silva. City are back in possession on the halfway line with Cancelo. To Laporte. Across it goes to Ruben Diaz. John Stones on halfway, playing right back still. City just like to keep the ball moving. Diaz goes back to Edison. He's got the three assists in his Premier League career. He's also on 96 clean sheets, so if he got one today, that would be 97, closing in towards 100. Here's Gundogan, deep inside his own half on the left-hand side, being forced back to his goalkeeper Edison, who will clear first time, and he'll get length on the clearance. All as far as Wout Fass, towards Tielemans, header won by De Bruyne, falls to Grealish. Gundogan, over the top ball now for Cancelo. Amati gets there first. The ball's in the air, and it's headed by Amati towards Vass, who has to clear quickly because Vass was being pressured by Phil Foden. And in the end, City concede the throw-in their own half. Laporte couldn't keep it in. As we are in the 78th minute of the game. Leicester 0, Manchester City 1. And this is the 4th anniversary, I think, of the death of their late chairman and owner, Vichai. I'm not going to go for the last name just in respect of himself. I won't be able to pronounce it, unfortunately, but I think it's the 4-year anniversary, as Tielemans is currently down injured for Leicester, so we've got a break in play with 15 minutes to go. Yeah, it is the 4th anniversary this weekend. Unfortunately killed in that devastating helicopter crash on the 27th of October 2018. After a home match where they drew 1-1 to West Ham, I believe. And yeah, that is the 4th anniversary to this weekend. So I think they had a minute's applause there for the late chairman. I think we're going to get back underway with just over 10 minutes to go. We're going to have that throw-in. think he's actually caught in the face, Tielemans. He's got something up his nose, so bloody nose. He may have just been caught in the face with a challenge with De Bruyne where they both went for the ball aerially. 10 minutes to go. Tielemans is allowed back on the pitch. 1-2 with Castagna and Iheanacho from the throw-in. He's lost out, though, Castagna to Rodri, who pokes the ball forward towards De Bruyne, but he don't find De Bruyne. It finds James Justin, who gets the ball forward to Maddison. Again, can't get it ahead of Rodri, who then releases the ball forward to De Bruyne, and this is where City are dangerous. De Bruyne, an early ball in behind, looking for Foden. Danny Ward comes out and clears convincingly well. Up towards Iheanacho. Laporte wins his header, and it'll be a throw-in for Leicester. Good goalkeeping there from Danny Ward. Phil Foden was nearly in behind there. The man who's got 6 goals so far in the Premier League, 3 of them coming against Manchester United, his first ever career hat-trick. He's also bagged the 1 goal in the Champions League in their first game against Sevilla away, a team they play next midweek after today. Maddison on the left-hand side, around 40 yards away from goal, goes back towards Wout Faes. Has Tielemans. Forward it goes to Castagna. He's allowed time and space here to assess his options. He'll go to Iheanacho. He then finds Maddison on the edge of the box. Does he want to pull the trigger? No, he'll let it off to James Justin, who pulls the trigger and misses by an absolute mile. Over the bar it goes. 9 minutes plus added on time to go. It's still Leicester City 0, Manchester City 1. Edison will take the goal kick. Take it short to Laporte in the 6-yard area. He'll clip it towards the left-hand side. Laporte looking for Grealish, goes over his head and finds Castagna. And Tielemans lets it run to Maddison. He pokes it forward, looking for Iheanacho on the right channel. Can't quite find him. City now try and deal with it in their own half. Cancelo looking for Gundogan. And he's fouled him. Gundogan is fouled Tielemans. He tried to let the ball run across his body, but the referee saw it as a foul. Yeah, he clipped him there. That's a foul from Gundogan. He tried to argue let the ball run across his body, but he completely took out Tielemans to not allow the Belgian to get the ball. And again, it's pretty much the same position as the last free kick for Maddison, but on the right-hand side, not the left. This is what he's dangerous at, James Maddison. This is what he's so good at. It'll be a crossing position for Maddison. He's a Leicester fan favourite. He brings creativity to this team. And can he provide an important assist for Leicester City in this match? Maddison, in it goes. It's flicked on. And it came off a Leicester man last. I think it was flicked on by Patson Daka, and then it came off the head of Castagna. He didn't really have much control of his header. It kind of just bounced off his head, yeah. Didn't know much about it, Castagna. Flicked on by Daka, I think. Just bounced off the head of Castagna, knew nothing about it. It might have even come off his shoulder in the end. And it's a goal kick for Manchester City as they survive another slight scare at the King Power, who are looking to expand on their stadium. They want to add another 8,000 seats to the 32,000 they already have. This ground was opened in 2002 after leaving Filbert Street. Edison out towards Grealish, flicks it on as far as Tielemans, who finds Bernardo Silva, not quite the shirt he was looking for. Now forward to Foden, who has to hold it up as he's playing that false 9 role, the number 47. He lays it off into Grealish, he takes on one. And then he'll lay it off to Cancelo on the left, he's joined the attack. Back his side to Grealish, finds Cancelo again. It's over 6 minutes to go, plus any added on time. Leicester 0, City 1. Grealish trying to find Cancelo inside again, picked up by Iheanacho. It's now Tielemans. Vass hurries the clearance, but he had to because he was pressured. And it goes only as far as the header of Laporte. Castagna heads away. Again, only finds Rodri. It's not good enough from Leicester. They need to keep this ball. They need to make it stick if they possibly can. Diaz. Guardiola will be wary. It's only a 1-0 lead. Laporte. Back to Edison as Leicester can push up the field. Gundogan. Back to Edison. Finds Laporte on the left-hand side of the City defensive area. He's got it again here from Gundogan. Laporte with his right foot. Clears up towards Foden. Can't win the header on a Martin. It'll fall to Vass. Then finds Castagna just above the halfway line for Leicester City. Goes across to Mendy, who's been forced all the way back to Danny Ward by the press of Kevin De Bruyne, the match winner so far. Tielemans to Castagna. It's all in the Leicester half. Good press from Manchester City. He's had to go long and in behind, but he has found the Nigerian Iheanacho there. Tielemans, good ball. He holds it up. He looks for Daka in the box. He heads it on straight into the hands of Ederson. It's a good chance for the Zambian striker, but Ederson was going to get beat from there. Lack of power in the header, but he was well held up from Iheanacho. Found the ball into the box because Daka had got away from Ruben Diaz. But unfortunately for the striker, his header fell straight into the hands of Ederson, who was not wanting to concede his 200th goal as a Manchester City goalkeeper. Grealish on the left clips the ball in towards the box. It's blocked by Castagna. Corner kick for City at the other end. Taking their time with this Manchester City. Grealish is over it. De Bruyne's with him. He'll lay it into De Bruyne. He goes to the edge of the box to Gundogan. Across to Cancelo, who's more central. He goes for a long-range strike. Nowhere near the target. Danny Ward can watch it go over the bar and wide of the post. Cancelo looking for a goal. And he couldn't find it. The left back. Only got the 9 goals for City in 145 appearances for the club. This is appearance 146. Ball clipped up towards Daka. He holds it up momentarily, but then he's lost it to Gundogan and then fouls Gundogan as he tried to win it back off the German. The Leicester players don't agree with the referee's decision, but that's the way it's gone. City will go top of the table for now if they keep this lead. It was a foul as well. Clips Gundogan's ankles. But obviously, at the time, you're going to ask for it, aren't you? If you're a Leicester player, you're going to ask, you're going to complain, you want to get doubt in the referee's head. Oh, Rodri slipped and he gave the ball. He's not give the ball away. It's fell to Cancelo, but that is fortunate. It nearly fell to Iheanacho as Laporte's lost it. It's fell to Iheanacho now in the box. He can't make up what he wants to do. He does end up shooting towards the near post. And again, it's well saved from Ederson. He's been a safe pair of hands today. Both goalkeepers, in fairness. Laporte give it away. I don't think he was fouled as well. I do think Maddison got the ball. And then Iheanacho got it from that Maddison tackle. And he couldn't really make up his mind. And when he eventually decided what he wanted to do, he got the shots away. It was pretty tame. And it was a save for Ederson that he could easily make. Preserving Manchester City's clean sheet. Obviously, Manchester City haven't scored from open play today. But, you know, if one goal's enough to win it, that's good enough for Manchester City and Pep. As Foden wins a free kick. It's caught from behind by Amati. If anyone is not subscribed who is here and you could subscribe, that'd be fantastic. One away from 750 as Guardiola is closing in on his 273rd Manchester City win. Rodri lays it off into De Bruyne in the Leicester half. He then goes over the top looking for Gundogan. Fass is there for Leicester. Tries to flick it over the head of Gundogan and instead he flicks out for a throw-in. In towards the corner flag, a minute and a half to go. Plus any added on time, Robert Jones decides to add on. Cancelo will take the throw in. There's a bit of time wasting going on now from City. Just not really time wasting, but taking their time. Let's just say that for sure. Throws into Foden, loses out. It's now Tielemans. Castagna clears. Only as far as Diaz, who hoops it down towards the left again. Only as far as Tielemans, who gets a nice ball forward to Iheanacho. It's now Maddison looks in behind for Daka. Can't take it in his stride. It will roll through to Ederson. That was really poor though from Ruben Diaz. That clearance towards the left-hand side, give it straight back to Leicester. And Ederson eventually picks up the ball. De Bruyne's been handed man of the match for his superb goal. And I will give it to him as well. That free kick was unbelievably taken. As the long kick from Ederson falls into the hands of Danny Ward. That's how long the kick was. And Leicester have not got long left. I'm not being told how much is added on. We're in the 90th minute. But the BT Sport scoreboards have gone. I don't know how much is added on, and I can't hear what they say. So your guess is as good as mine. Is Leicester give it away here in the final third? It's Grealish who completely slows it down. He's not got much support. He's trying to take on Castagna in the corner flag. That's where he takes it, but he loses that in the corner flag and he fouls Castagna. It's 3 minutes of added on time. 3 minutes of added on time. So when the clock gets to 48, we've played the minimum amount of time that is meant to have been played. Danny Ward will take the free kick towards the corner flag for Leicester as they're going to go for it now, the Foxes. Up it goes. Header won by Rodri. Up towards Foden, loses that to Amati on the halfway. Tielemans heads on. As far as Laporte, who heads away. Up towards Foden, hooked away by James Justin. Header won again by Laporte. As far as Tielemans, who heads into Fass. Gets it down for Mendy. Tries to work out towards Tielemans. Loses that to Grealish. But he's won a free kick. Grealish bundles Tielemans to the ground. Free kick for Leicester on the halfway. I don't think Pep agrees with that. It's a soft one, but the referee gives it. Still 1-0. 2 minutes to go. Can Leicester upset Manchester City? It's a high line from City. It's clipped towards the box. It's a header won again from Rodri. Only as far as Tielemans, the free kick taker. Takes a touch. Crosses it in. Header won by... Oh my word! The header was won from Stones. And the header from Stones hit the face of Diaz towards the City goal. And it just went over. Oh my days, it nearly curled in. Stones, instead of heading it away, he headed it across the City box. It hit the face of Diaz and it nearly curled into the corner. So close for Leicester to get a goal in the most bizarre circumstances, but it's gone for a corner instead. 1:20 to go on the clock. Leicester have got a corner. Maddison in swinger towards the near post. The header's won by De Bruyne. Towards Foden, who wins the header ahead of Mendy. And De Bruyne can get on the counter here. They could finish the game off, City. He's got Gundogan in support to his left. Kevin can go on his own. He goes across instead to Ilkay Gundogan, who just misses it at the far post. It's kept in by Cancelo towards the corner flag. He goes to Grealish. He keeps it alive. He gets it inside looking for Gundogan. He'll be picked up by Mendy. It goes to Danny Ward, the goalkeeper. Cleared in the end. Towards Daka. Header won by Ruben Diaz. Rodri clears. In behind for De Bruyne. Is he onside? It doesn't matter because Danny Ward collects it. 30 seconds to go. Danny Ward needs to release it. He does do so. Bit of afters between De Bruyne and Ward, but the play continues with Grealish winning a fantastic header. It keeps it in the Leicester half. They've got 15 seconds of defending left before they get a big away victory in the Premier League. Hooked by Gundogan, but it's not convincing. Mendy to Justin, out to Harvey Barnes. He clips it forward towards Daka. It's well intercepted by Cancelo. Oh, as far as Mendy. Tielemans, in it goes towards Daka. Laporte heads away. Oh, as far as Castagna. He stands it up towards the far post. It'll fall to Maddison. We've played the 3 minutes, and that is that. There was a chance for Maddison to get the cross in there at the far post, but he still had work to do. And we were 20 seconds past added on time. And at full time, it's a well-earned victory for Manchester City. It ends Leicester City 0, Manchester City 1. And in a game of many opportunities for a 1-0, in the end, it's a free kick that makes the difference. Ederson was superb in the Manchester City net in that second half especially. But as we go through the game in the first half, City had the majority of the chances, forcing a couple of good saves from Danny Ward. Leicester had their own chance as well from Harvey Barnes midway through the half, but Ederson made a good save. And City kept pressing but couldn't quite find the goal in the first half. Then early on in the second half, 4 minutes in, Kevin De Bruyne, 25 yards out from the free kick, got it over the wall, just under the crossbar, nicked it off the inside of the post and in for an unbelievable goal from the Belgian. And from there, the game slowed down in stages. There were certain chances. Leicester really went for it for the last 20 minutes. Also, 4 minutes after the De Bruyne goal, Tielemans hit the bar, good Ederson save. And then from there, the last 20 minutes was a bit more end-to-end after the changes were made from Leicester to bring Daka and Iheanacho on. But in the end, it was enough for Manchester City to keep hold of the 3 points. And in the end of the game, it ends Leicester City 0, Manchester City 1. De Bruyne the match winner. And City will leave Leicester with all 3 points. Fantastic win for City. I've got to go pretty quickly because I've got a game to go to. So unfortunately, I can't stick around. I've got to go. But in the end, it was a strong away performance from City. It was decided for a De Bruyne free kick, which was brilliant. And it haunted the Leicester team as they drop another 3 points. City gain another 3. And at the King Power Stadium, it does end Manchester City with all 3 points. It's Leicester City 0, Manchester City 1.